Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and oh, see you did. See now as I see you again. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I just want to start this class out by just telling everybody that I see you. And I see you if you're struggling, and I see you if you're shifting, and I see you if you're just lost and have no idea what's happening. And I'm actually going to have Megan come and tell her experience with DQ. But the other part that came to me right before I got on the call was something they normally don't share until the DQ certification course, but it came through and it's like giving me chills just saying it again right now, is that this process is so beyond the mind that to try to break it down to something that you understand is only limiting it. And it is not something that we have to understand in order for it to work. And the part of it that is most important is to just do the steps. And the council that has developed this process will do the rest of the work. You do not have to make this happen for yourself. And trying to make it happen is actually interrupting the process altogether. This is a very different process. It's a process where, really stepping into what we committed to last week, and that's staying in the trust and in the unknown. And staying in trust and being okay in the unknown will get you so much farther. And I know there's so many of you that are very, very far into your path of ascension. You have very, very high level of consciousness. And now it's time to embody that consciousness to a cellular level. And this will teach you how to do that. But it also, just by saying yes to this class, is making it happen. So every time you go into the frequency of I have to make something happen, you are out of co-creation with the process itself, because the process itself is the gateway of co-creation between the frequencies that are at a much higher level than what your mind can understand, and bringing that frequency into a place where eventually your consciousness of your cells and of your mind will reach that frequency, and you will start to see what that co-creation is building. But until then, we hold the space and we know that it's happening. And the more we can trust in that process, the faster it will go, the more we'll be out of our own way, all of those things. And I think so many times we get stuck in this place of, I need to have something happen. I need to have somebody help me through the process. I need to have. And we're looking for this energy outside of ourselves to fix us or to make it better or whatever it is. And, that's what I love about DQ Body, is that this is the one DQ class where we are challenging you. And I would say that this class is even more advanced than DQ level 1 of face reading, because if you think about co-creation on your face, or doing cellular work on your face, that is not something outside of yourself. It's something where you are constantly connecting to something that you are already in. But when we're moving into DQ Body, yes, we're still working with body, but we're working with things of like food and exercise and things that we have to be able to expand what we feel is us and embrace other things that are outside of us, like, for instance, food, and make that also the experience of our wholeness or of our physical body. So it is a little bit more challenging than just working with a wrinkle. But if you said yes to this class, there is something in you that is ready for this class. You would not be here if it was not meant to be. And so I'm speaking to everybody. For those that are just like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever, remember that when it starts to get a little bit more challenging. Because this is going to push you past what you understand and what you know. And if it wasn't doing that, then I'm not doing my job. Because if you're comfortable through this entire process, I am not pushing you outside of your comfort zone so that you can start reaching frequencies that you have not existed in. So being uncomfortable is a good thing. Celebrate that, because that means you're doing the work and you're doing it right. And it's being able to exist in the uncomfortable until we get to start to resonate in the frequency of what we're becoming is what we use to shift into what we're becoming. Because if we just became something, then we're not actually moving through a different frequency pattern. That's how we shift, that's how we change. And once you learn how to do that for yourself, you can continue to do that for yourself in all areas of your life. Give me one moment. Erica, oh, go ahead, Marilyn.
May I please ask a quick question?
Yes, you may.
You said that this, as long as you follow, all you have to do is follow the steps and have the trust, which I get. Can you just reiterate what those steps are?
So the steps are in the Kajabi classroom. So right now, you guys should just be moving out of week 1 and into week 2. So week 1 is really about just identifying that I'm going to have an I am statement. I'm going to have a program. As you move through these 4 weeks, you will have a full step-by-step process of how to reprogram a cell. And this coming week is really when it starts to dive in. And I think 3rd week, you go into like organs. And then, of course, when you really start to go into more intense work is if you choose to move into DQ Cert, we go into it much deeper, and there's some other processes that we can bring in. But basically, Marilyn, you're connecting to a cell, you're identifying a belief or a pattern that you want to release, you're clearing it with the rainbow light. You don't have to understand the rainbow light, just know that the rainbow light is clearing through 7 layers of consciousness. And then you're replacing the belief system with an I am. And then you are asking to see it happen. And then you're saying thank you. It is that simple, because everything else is being done for you. And you will learn every single step. And if you go ahead and go forward, you can print out the PDF and it will have the step-by-step process on there. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. That was a great question, because, I assume everybody can, that knows this, and not everybody does. So it was a great question. Does anybody else have any questions before I'm going to turn it over to Erica here? Okay, go ahead, Erica.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, honey.
Yeah, it's just something that probably will become clear over time, but I'm currently not clear as if it matters what we eat or if it doesn't.
Okay, this is how I'm going to answer that question. For some of you, the answer is yes. And for some of you, the answer is no. And this is why it just depends on where you are in the level of frequency of what you're holding. And so for right now, let's just say it's a yes. Listen to your heart. If your heart is saying yes to the frequency of the food that you're going to ingest, then say yes. If there's anything in you that is saying no, then it's a no. And maybe just practicing what's a yes and no. And you know, that's what's so great about our pendulum is that we can actually practice, like, is this something my body needs? Is it something that my body does? And so we can like actually test it for now. And so, but the long answer, you know, as we continue to do this work, I was just telling this to Erica, and I put a video in there about how I was changing the frequency of my food to where I was literally gorging myself and eating foods that are very, very high in fat to see if my weight would change, and it didn't. And not only that, I actually lost weight. Well, now I'm going to do the opposite. Is I'm actually going to eat very, very little food in the same frequency pattern. And I already know what's going to happen is I'm going to stick, because I've done it before, but I'm going to do it again during our class just to show you that the food is not the problem. It's the frequency of which we're eating the food is the problem. So if we can just be really aware of what frequency that we're eating our food in, and if we can practice eating our food from our emotion of choice and allowing that frequency to enter our food, so it's not something that we're taking out from outside of ourselves, it's a practice. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. This whole entire class is teaching you how to change your life. It's teaching you how to change your body. We can't just reprogram ourselves overnight. This is not the quick fix. It is a practice to becoming the new human. And this is just one avenue of the entry point of how to do that. Something that we're passionate about. I want to change my body. Well, awesome. We're going to use your body as the biofeedback mechanism to show you how powerful you are and that you truly can reprogram your cellular intelligence to very high levels of existence. And we're going to start by losing weight or changing the frequency of our food. So that was a great question. I hope that I answered it in a way that you can use it in your daily life, because when it all comes down to it, we have to be able to apply this to our daily life.
Yeah, it does. It's just, you know, when I've always been very restrictive with myself, and I just wanted to understand if I just to, you know, mentally place myself, okay, I'm just going to experiment, because yes, it's an open-ended spectrum as long as I know how to work with the frequencies.
Right. So what the question that is immediately coming up for me is, what is the restriction about?
Well, I've just had so much struggle and discomfort.
With like food intolerance?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Yes, so I actually had, there was somebody else that asked the same question. I can't remember who it was, but they were saying the same thing about gluten.
It was me.
Oh yeah, Jen. Yes, it was. Thank you, Jen. And hi, honey. And yeah, so she had, and so have you been practicing with that at all, Jen?
I have. And I've been noticing that I have to do it, like, I can't overdo it. So I tried it and I got really excited because it didn't really affect me negatively. So then I had probably too much, and my like higher self kind of told me like, you probably should stop, but I was really excited and I didn't. And then I felt the kind of the repercussions. So I'm finding, at least I think it's about finding that balance, which is my emotion is kind of flow and harmony. So I guess finding that harmony, and that's, I'm someone that comes from a background of also eating disordered behavior, which I've worked really hard on that. And I find as I'm kind of, I don't know, I guess moving up in consciousness, that stuff is kind of being brought up again right now, which is why I think this class is a perfect time for me. So I can learn to embrace all things and yeah, not struggle with that as much anymore. So I'm trying to find that balance and harmony and not see food as like bad or good or in these categories, even with intolerances. So that's kind of, yeah, where I'm at, I guess.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Jen. So Annette, you can kind of take that and apply it to, I would, start small, because it takes a while to reprogram. It just, it would be awesome if we just asked for a reprogram and it would just happen. And there is a day where asking it almost immediately what we're asking for does follow, but we have to teach both our consciousness and our bodies how to live in that way. And that's what's so great about this class, is it's teaching you how to teach your body how to do that. And then until it starts to do it on its own without having to put so much effort into doing it. And it does happen, I promise you. So thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm sorry, I just said Annette, but it was Annette has her hand up here. So I'm going to let you come on if you want to unmute yourself, Annette.
Okay. I just have a question about the daily practice. I just picked one for the week. Was I supposed to be doing one every day? A different one every day?
I actually feel as though doing the same one for a whole week is more powerful, because you can really shift with that. What you may want to do is maybe keep your I am statement, because the I am statement is what's creating the identity of what you're moving into. But then if you want to do the practice of clearing your cell every day, you can go in and start to identify the belief systems or the programs that are in the way of you becoming your I am statement. So if there was anything you were going to do on a daily basis, I would do the clearing part, bring in the rainbow light, clear it out, feel the clearing, and then move into your I am statement. And when you feel as though your I am statement isn't like giving you that, yes, I want to be that anymore, then it's time to raise the frequency of your I am statement. And because you want to keep, that's why I call it ascending through the I am. When we're to this place where it's just like we're saying it, but there's no feeling behind it, then it's time to change the I am statement.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then Trisha, go ahead.
Hi, just kind of to parlay on that. It's funny because one of the things I've been finding is I'll start, it's almost like I tune in and it just kind of channels through me, but I get this like, there'll be this just laundry list. Like I'll just keep going and going and going. And I'm like, is this the most productive? Does that make sense? Like, especially with the clearing, like it's not as succinct and repeated every day as the same thing.
And that's okay. Really what this is doing is teaching you how to trace your own energy. And and we're going to do a lot of clearings and stuff today in class. So you guys will start to see kind of like more on a, of course it's going to be a little different than what you're doing because we're doing it as a DQ practitioner. But the other part that, like, I'm saying this to Annette, and then there's this other part in me that's saying, if you hit a belief system that has a lot of charge to it, it may be that you stop right there, because if it has a lot of charge, it's probably telling you there's something to see. And it may be, where in my life is this showing up? Where do I need to start seeing this in my life so that I can, in that moment, reprogram to my I am? And so, like, let's say that it was something was just related to food, that if I eat something that's high in fat, that I'll gain weight. Let's just say that's a belief system that you really struggle with. It may be that you clear that and then you work with that for a couple of days, that every time you think about, oh, I wish I could have this, you're like, wait a minute, that's my belief system. I'm reprogramming that belief system. That isn't what I want to have as my reality. I'm clearing this belief system. I see it. I'm asking it for it to clear. And now I'm moving into the I am statement of I resonate in the frequency that my food is everything I eat is in the resonance of either the weight that I want to be, the emotion of choice, whatever feels good to you. I mean, because this is really your journey. Like, if it feels more important to resonate in your ideal weight, use that frequency. If it's more important for you to resonate in the emotion of choice, use that frequency. If it's more important for you to resonate in a vision of what you look like, use that frequency. You know where your charge is making you feel happy. Go with that because it's showing you the way. That was a great question. So I hope I answered that in a way that was making sense. But really what it's doing is it's allowing you to trace your frequency, your energy patterns. And that's why we do the step-by-step until, believe me, if you continue with this work, there will be a day that you do not need the sheets anymore. And you don't need your pendulum anymore, and that you can just shut your eyes, go into your cell, and read the frequency pattern and do all the work without it. That will happen. This is just the step-by-step process that's bringing you there. Thank you, Tricia. That was a great question.
May I ask a question?
Yes, you may. Go ahead.
So I've had a belief around deprivation that was mentioned earlier, like the deprivation. You know, I kind of went to like the feast and famine in my history, and recently it felt like I moved it around to, okay, what would actually be nurturing to my body. And my Ayurvedic doctor, he now put me on something that's more liquid for now. So how do I make sure that I'm not still leaning into the deprivation piece while I'm doing this and moving through the food when I'm not having the food?
Beautiful question. So immediately what came to me was that it's not about it's not about the food. So how can I have this experience in a frequency that is feeding me? So it's going back to that emotion of choice, and it's what I would really want you to do is, like, maybe it's clearing, canceling, and deleting that whether I'm drinking something or eating something, and how much I'm eating or drinking something is either deprivation or like, how about it just is. And that might be a harder one for you to work through, but it's starting to recognize the deprivation, because the deprivation is your body probably feeling hungry, and then you immediately go to this place of I need. So in that moment of I need, what is it that I actually need right now? Because my body is being fed, my body is getting what it needs, but what do I need? And like, and the pattern that I'm picking up for you, honey, is hold on one moment. There's a borderline, it's actually really connected to the amygdala. It's almost like this place of suffering. And if I suffer, what does that mean? And if I actually trace the pattern all the way to the very bottom, it's that I'm going to die. And so your body is registering the food restriction as a survival mechanism. And so what's cool about that, though, is that it's biological. And now you're connecting stories and emotions to it because you want to make sense of what's happening, when really, if you just go to the very root and clear the biological response to restriction of food, that's where you're going to clear from there, and then work all the way up, because that'll clear all the other beliefs that of why am I hungry and all of those things. So play with that, see what comes through after you kind of clear that one, and then see what kind of I am statement comes through. But we could use something like, my body knows what it feels like to exist in the frequency of being fed, and without having to be fed. Like, and I don't even think you have to say that second part. It just, it knows what it feels like to be fed. And what is it being fed? Well, it could be an emotion. It could be food. It could, my body knows what it feels like to be fully fulfilled. So play with that. I mean, look how fun this is. I love that. Thank you so much for asking.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I saw, reading through the notes, use of a pendulum, but how are we supposed to be using it? Because I haven't figured out where we have like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So it's like,
that'll come this week in week 2. If you look over on, it's either on the side of the course, honey, or if you're on your phone, it's all the way
I'm on
down
the computer.
on the computer. So it's on the right side, you'll see downloads, and that's where
Okay.
you're going to get all your PDFs. And there's even a video in the course that shows you how to use the PDFs. So look in there and you'll see it. But then once you have this printed out, that's what you're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to just like send it over to Erica now, because I know and then actually, should we have Megan talk really quick? You guys, these are such great questions. I just want to be sure that we have time to do the clearings and stuff, and we may have some time for questions again. I just want to make sure that we let Megan talk really fast, and then we're going to have Erica take over.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, there you are. Hi, beautiful.
Hi. First, I just you all are amazing. And I'm just sitting here and I just feel such a settled energy, and I just feel everyone's readiness to be part of this. So it's just very exciting. But I wanted to share the first time I took DQ 1. Jules would talk, and I had a lot of the same questions that you have now, like, where is the list? How do I do this? When do I use my pendulum? In what order? And I kept trying to use my mind to grasp the system of how I was going to do this, how I was going to find the answers. And as soon as I started letting go of that and just flowing with it and trusting is when I really started to see the results. So I would just say, keep having fun with it and keep just practicing. And every time we have another class or you watch another video, another piece is going to come in, and just being okay not knowing or not being the best at it, not fully understanding what you're doing means you're doing it right. And then it'll just start to click. And so I think don't get caught up on doing it right. Just keep practicing and trust yourself and just keep doing it. And it's so much fun, and it does just start to flow. But truthfully, I had no idea what I was doing, and it then would just kind of come in, and it keeps coming in. So just keep having fun and trusting yourself is just what I wanted to share.
Thank you, Megan. It's something just came in from council as you were talking. And that's whatever you're seeing right in front of you is exactly what you're supposed to be seeing. And when more is ready to come in, it will come in for you. And like it's almost like there's this huge sphere of what is actually happening. And then you are only given just a tiny bit, because if you were given everything at one time, it would literally just, you would melt. It would be way too much. And so just knowing that what you're experiencing right now is perfect, and that eventually that little part that you're seeing is going to expand and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then there's going to be a day, I mean, now Megan is not only a DQ practitioner, but she's actually a teacher. And she started right where everybody else is. And she's no different than anybody else. So thank you for sharing, Megan. I just thought that was important for somebody that isn't me. Like of course I developed the course, so I understand it from a different place. So she was you at one point, and now she's teaching this. And I just thought that was really important to share. So thank you, Megan. Okay, Erica, we'll let you take over now.
I was also Megan at one point. And I think sometimes when people look at me, they're like, well, you work with Jules and you guys do it. Like I'm in it, like in October is when Jules brought forth the process, or as you all know, as the steps. And I am one of those perfectionists where I needed to know the steps. And I'm like, I don't know any of these steps. So I'm just going to let it all go and see what happens. And that is truly how I stepped into that power. And then when I started to trace energy, I started to trace it in myself with regards to reflection of myself through others. And it wasn't until January that I started to reflect what I wanted to become. And that's truth, because for so long I had been in the service industry. I had worked in fitness. I worked in nutrition. I worked in hair. I've worked with everyone's energy. And I knew how to see everyone's energy. And yet when it came time for me to see my energy, I could trace it, but I was tracing people's versions of me. And that felt foreign. And so I'm like, wow, what am I even looking at? And then I started over. And the beauty of that is it didn't take very long, because a lot of times when we want to pick a belief system, if it resonates with us, we want an identity to step into. So the importance of those I ams that keep coming up, or the importance of the emotions that keep coming up, is to identify if that's something that you agree with or don't agree with, because you need to step into that in order to become it, right? And yet you also have to be patient in the process, because once you start seeing a result, or once you start feeling a shift internally, you want to do it fast. And that's the importance of slowing down, let it integrate, and take what's best for you. Because it does seem overwhelming with all of the information in Kajabi. There's a lot of information, and a lot of you are reading it ahead of the time. We're asking you to take it in it at a pace that's perfect for you, at a pace that you are ready at. And if something's telling you, okay, I need to understand this better, awesome. Let it integrate in you, and then listen to the next step when you're ready. The beautiful of a virtual course is you can go back and re-listen to it as many times as you want. And we encourage you to, because you're going to pick up something and it's going to go deeper and deeper. You know, in the email today, we mentioned foundations, because we feel a lot of you struggling with, you know, you can't get out of your mind. You want to understand it. You want to know where you're going. You want to see the results. And when you're coming up against a belief system, your mind is telling you that's not right. And we're asking you to let go of your mind, because you're not your thoughts. And that brings it back to foundations. And so again, that's why we're offering that class for you all, because if you're still struggling with your mind, then go back and take the foundations course, and then come back and revisit DQ Body. But the most important thing that we can tell you is show up for you. Whatever pace that is for you, show up for you, because we do teach at a very high level. And for some people, they're dialed in. And it's important to not compare, because all of our pathways and journeys are different. The outcome is the same, and we're all created the same, but our journeys are very different. So honor you in that. Because for those that have had sessions with me, I go deep. We're not going surface, because it's for you to figure out your belief system that is more simplified. My job is to go deeper, because I want you to experience you and sense you in that realm, right? We're not here to heal you. We're here to show you how you heal yourself, which is why Megan and I did that version of DQ and we uploaded it. Because it's very important for you to trust you. And a lot of you are very unfamiliar with trusting self at this point, because you're using your body as a reflection of self. When in reality, we get to use this as just feedback of self. And that's beautiful on so many ways, because that puts you in the driving seat. So just hold yourself in grace, take what resonates and get rid of the rest, and take it at your pace. There are specific steps that you're learning along the way, and everyone wants to know all the steps right now. We love that enthusiasm. We love this. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be it shouldn't be suffering. It shouldn't be frustrating. It should just be unfamiliar. It should just be I don't understand. And that's that uncomfy that you're going to learn to enjoy and love shifting in through.
Thank you, Erica. That was beautiful. Okay, so I think what I would like to do is I'm going to do a universal clearing. We're going to do a couple one-on-ones, and then with the last 10 or 15 minutes, we'll move back into questions. Just so in case there's some questions about the clearings or anything like that. So let's just all enjoy a universal clearing. So how I'm going to do this universal clearing is I'm going to go in and clear the belief systems in the universal master cell. And then I'm going to actually enter the nucleus, and we're going to recode to hold both actually moving out the frequency pattern and then moving a new one in. And then I'm going to turn it over to Erica again, and we'll move into the one-on-ones. All right, so here we go. Let's just have everyone shut their eyes and connect to their hearts. And just start to breathe in and out of your hearts. And if you want, go ahead and just breathe in. And if there's a color that comes to you, you can bring, like for me right now, I'm getting the color aqua. And I'm going to breathe that in through my heart. And then when I'm breathing out, I'm seeing the color green. So whatever works for you. If you don't see a color, fine. Just keep breathing in and out of the heart, connecting to your breath. And then we're just going to ask for the guidance of the Council of Light and beyond. And from the first particle of existence to this time and place called now, we enter the universal master cell, and we are clearing, canceling, and deleting the belief system that my genetics, my parents, my spouse, my family, my environment have control over what I weigh and what I experience within my own body. We are clearing, canceling, and deleting the belief system that as I get older, my metabolism slows down. We are clearing, canceling, and deleting that what I eat affects the weight that I'm at. We're clearing, canceling, and deleting if I eat something high in fat, high in sugar, or that is not good for me, I will gain weight. One moment. I'm clearing, canceling, and deleting the belief system that what I see in the mirror is the truth of my reality. One moment. We're clearing, canceling, and deleting. I need to be saved. I need to be healed. I'm not strong enough to do this by myself. Okay, I'm bringing in the 7 elements of the rainbow light, and we're watching these clear. And as we're watching these clear, we're bringing in the frequency pattern that co-creation and becoming the new human, to becoming empowered, to stepping into self-love is already within you. We're watching those clear, and we're bringing this beautiful pattern of your highest potential and beyond. You're so powerful that if you could see what you're capable of, you would almost melt your mind. We're watching this come in. We're just downloading the frequency pattern of what you are capable of becoming. It is already there. And now we're going to enter the nucleus. We are clearing, canceling, and deleting. Negative 1, 3, 5, 9, 8, 2. We're watching that clear. And as it clears, it is diminishing all synapse responses of the brain that are connected to the belief systems that we have just cleared. You may feel a little pressure in the brain. We have one more belief system coming in. We are clearing, canceling, and deleting. That if I restrict my food, or if I overeat, one moment, that my body moves into defense mechanisms. One moment. Okay, so we are clearing, canceling, and deleting the body's response that food is needed for survival. And we're just going to watch that clear, and we're going to bring in the belief system that food is a choice. I choose food to enjoy the experience, and it feeds my cells in the frequency pattern of divine perfection. One moment. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the new pattern. It's laying right across the double helix. It is positive 9, 8, 5, 1, 2, 9, 8. We're watching this download, and this is the frequency pattern. One moment. My body resonates in divine perfection. Everything I bring into my body resonates in divine perfection. I am an expression of divine perfection. Everything I touch, everything I see is in resonance of divine perfection. We're locking that in. We're allowing it to extend out into the brain, creating energy responses. And we trust in knowing that when we are ready, our conscious understanding will reach these frequency patterns until we are seeing it in the reality of our experience. And it is done. It is so. Erica, I'll let you take over.
That's awesome. Who would like to have I can't see everyone, but I'd love to do a one-on-one with someone.
I would love one.
Who is speaking?
Kaylin,
Okay.
here's my video. I'm scary looking, but it's okay.
Oh, I love that. You're not scary looking. You're beautiful.
Thank you. I went out bike riding and I haven't had my shower yet. And I'm like, it's okay. They're going to take me anyway.
We accept. Real quick too, as we do universal clearings, the beauty of one-on-ones is it's not going to just, it's universal, right? We all clear together, and we all, explore belief systems together. So if you're not called on, because I know it's exciting to get some one-on-one work, just know that the work is also being done on you as well. That's the beauty of our energy, is that we all share and we are all one, so we all heal as one. So Caitlin, what would you love to work on today?
First off, I just want to deeply say thank you to you and Jules. Lots of emotion coming up. I'm really, really grateful for the work that you have chosen to do and are helping me to heal through this process of this super yumminess that you have. All I know is if you were here, I'd be totally giving the two of you a big hug because I'm just so, so grateful. So at this time, the healing is for whatever's for my greatest and highest good, because I feel something coming through. I'm just not sure what that looks like yet.
Let's take a deep breath in. Take another deep breath in. Connect heart to heart. Deep breath in. Oh, I love this energy. You're so beautiful. So as we connect heart to heart, there is such a gratitude and at the same time an immense sadness. And that sadness is the fact that so many, like there's a sense of belongingness that you are craving. And you are finding that if you go in through this process, you will find you, the home frequency of you. And there's a fear in that process that if you don't find it, there's a sense of loss because you don't know what to step into, because you don't feel like you don't even know who you are. And that is beautiful because that's your shift. So let's go in. Okay, I love this. Let's take a deep breath in. And we're doing the master cell. And we're going to clear, cancel, delete, and remove from this first particle of existence to this time and place called now, the resistance behind the fear of loss, of searching, and of not knowing. We're going to clear, cancel, delete, and remove the belief system that I do not belong. We are going to clear, cancel, delete, and remove the belief system of I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am, so I don't know what to do. Breathe that in. I'm going to clear, cancel, remove, and delete the belief system of the fear of stepping forward to be seen. Breathe that in. And I'm bringing in the rainbow light. And as I watch it swirl all the way around, I'm going to, I'm bringing in the rainbow light. We are one, we are connected. You are home. Breathe in. I am home. I am self. I am here. I hear me.
Well, I do appreciate you guys letting me be right on the front end.
Kaylin, breathe in. I am home. I am here. I am me. I am light. I am truth. I'm also going to clear, cancel, and delete the idea that you abandoned yourself. I feel self-abandonment. Clear, cancel, and delete that you are disconnected from self. You never left you. You just need to connect to you. So as you place your hands on your heart, close your eyes. And I see that beautiful rainbow light, but what I see even greater is the brightest, goldest star. And I know you feel that. And I know you see that. And that is the essence of you. I am a radiant star. I feel the release in that. Say it again. I am a radiant star. One more time. I am a radiant star. Breathe into that. There's such power and beauty in that. And when you connect to the essence of you, that's who you are. That's the brightness that you're here to be. And you're ready to step in to be that brightness. That's what's so beautiful about it, is I just need you to see that when you see yourself. So that going through some of those belief systems and fears to come over, it took you a little bit to step forward as the star that you are so that you can see what you see when you look in a mirror. Yes. So as you move forward and as you clear, you tell your cells, you see you in the mirror as a bright, brilliant, radiant star. That's what you see. You've always been connected to self. You just Needed to see it again. That's all. It's so beautiful. It's so bright. It's like blinding that I opened my eyes because I normally do these closed, but it's just so beautifully bright. You just like, and I just want to talk to a lot of us because I feel such a beautiful energy coming in that we forget what the essence of us looks like. And so I encourage everyone to, when they close their eyes and they see their divine, what they see is in fact themselves, right? You are seeing you. You're just seeing you in energy, and that's what we need you to do. That's what we're telling ourselves to step into, is that beautiful energy that we came here to be, that we knew we had this whole time. We aren't separate from it. We just have to start seeing it when we look in the mirror. And I saw you see it, and I see you feel it. And I feel everyone kind of seeing themselves right now and stepping into their brightness and their lightness. And I just want to hold so much love for everyone because I felt a giant shift as a collective in this. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. You are gorgeous. You are beautiful. Shine bright. Now is time.
So I have to say, I have been experiencing a lot of sadness for a long time, probably the past several months. And I'm thinking it was everybody else, but this just nailed it. And so my heart is just super, super grateful. And I feel that radiance because I've been told it, but I haven't felt it. Right. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm deeply grateful.
You're giving me so chills. And this is what I love is that we're holding space for you to see and experience yourself. When we do everyone, we're not here healing. We're holding space for you to experience yourself, the essence and the truth of you. That is very powerful. Because a lot of times we don't remember what that feels like. And now we get to remember. It's time to remember, and that's the beauty and the power that we're asking you to step into. That's what changes the game. Because now we're remembering and we feel an abandonment in that. And so as we clear these belief systems, we're mad at ourselves because how dare did I let myself do this? Please hold yourself in grace. Because the grief that you're experiencing is the shed of old self that no longer works, right? We're being asked to step into our power. We're being asked to step into our light. And guess what? We're getting the permission to do so. And we're doing it collectively, which is forcing everybody else to do it the same. This is what revs me up, everybody. This is what fires me and gets my sunball throwing out sunbursts. Because I see you all, I feel you all, and I felt everyone just shift. Thank you. Powerful.
File every time.
Thank
So
you.
we
Thank you.
change
Thank you.
file, so we get that full file.
Oh, I love this. I love it. So Megan, you're up, girlfriend.
Really quick, Megan, before you start, there was something in that whole process that I feel like is really good point to bring. I don't know if anyone noticed, but there was a point in there where it's like, I don't know who I am. And so we don't step into our power because we don't know who we are. And this is the time when you get to decide what you want to be. So instead of not waiting until you know who you are in order to step forward, is that just like Erica said, I am divine. I am this brilliant, bright star. You don't have to be an identity of like, I'm a mom, I'm a healer, I'm all these things. Like those are all these other identities. The true identity doesn't really have a label. And we just step into that, and then it becomes what it is that we're becoming. And then we get to start to step up with these I am. Like right now, I am a brilliant, bright star. And it may be in a week from now, I am, the next I am. So don't ever don't limit yourself of what you're becoming. When that identity fully is embodied into and what I would love for us all to do too with those is that my body knows what it feels like to be a brilliant, bright star. So it's not just something that we're becoming, but it's something that we're embodying at the same time. So thank you so much, Erica. I just wanted to bring that because there's so many times that we won't step into our power because we don't know who we are. Well, guess what? It's not about who you are, it's about who you're becoming. And that's what this class is about, is that you actually don't have to know who you are to become something different. And so instead of staying with who am I, it's who am I becoming? And that is who you will become. Don't get stuck in who I am or who am I. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That is the true embodiment of the I am right there. Thank you, Erica. Okay, Megan.
Thank you, Jules, for this clarification, because I experienced something which was akin to what I had experienced 24 years ago, precisely when I was in presence of a spiritual master, and I had no idea. I walk in and I'm having tears pouring down and I'm sobbing, and there was a part, it was like, you know, it was the same feeling, and like, what's the connection? And then, you know, this explanation that you gave that kind of connects it to the similarity between the two experiences.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, honey. All right, Megan, let's have you take over here.
Sounds good. So who else would like a face reading?
I would.
Yeah.
Who is that?
We have two. We have Jen and then Kathy. But Kathy, didn't you have one last week? I think you did, didn't you?
No, I just made a statement.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's do Jen and then we'll do Kathy.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll start with Jen.
Yes, hi.
Hi. So what do you want to work on today?
I guess also what might be my highest and best good, but I'll give a tiny bit of context. Jules knows this. I'm in a kind of a wild situation right now. I'm in Tahiti with 2 small children, and I've been stuck here for going on 2 months until I can reunite with my spouse in New Zealand. So I've been kind of playing and working in the energy, but also working, I think, on old pieces of control and surrender. And that's been coming up with food, which is something that I thought I'd kind of figured out, but it's coming back up again, especially when it comes to like what I can and can't have or eat and how it affects me. Yeah, just anything, I guess. So that's some context, but whatever comes through and for my highest and best good.
Amazing. Okay, awesome. Can you put your hands on your heart? Take a deep breath. In and out. You just settle in this space. And I just ask the Council of Light and the Divine to support and guide us today to raise Jen to the highest frequency available to her. So I'm going to go into the Universal Master Cell and ask for the highest clearing available to you today. So one moment. Right away, I just feel a tightness in your throat and a loss of control. The fear of being out of control. A moment. Just a nervousness around being out of control. One moment. Something's coming in, I'm just tracing it. Shame is coming in, a belief of feeling shamed. I am ashamed. How are you feeling?
Yeah, maybe some of old shame, because I've been just trying to play with this process while kind of like negotiating a lot of other things. And yeah, I mean, I could see how that might be coming back up.
So what I'm feeling, I think we can just go in and that feeling of shame. One moment, sorry. I'm feeling it move around. Yeah, not having that control. So let's just go in from the first particle of existence to this time and place called now. We clear, cancel, and delete the anxiety around having control, the fear of losing control, and any shame around identities that you feel you should be. We clear, cancel, and delete those beliefs and programs and fears. Show me. As we bring in the rainbow light, watch as it spins in all of its beauty, as it clears, cancels, and deletes, and remove those from your cells. Feel as that releases. I'm still feeling some resistance. And
It might be that I have a child jumping and screaming in the background.
Totally. And I think just letting it be, just being and being you, I'm starting to feel it move. To just let go, I just clear, canceling, deleting the feeling that you have to know what's next, that you have to control, and that is your identity, that's how you are seen. To release all of that. So we're going to bring in, as the rainbow light comes in, we're going to download. I'm perfectly divine, so I can share my light. I am truth, I am myself, and I'm going to be me so I can shine my light. It's very bright. How does that feel for you?
Good. It's actually similar to what I do sometimes say. I do say I am truth, I am light a lot. So that feels really good. I think what I've been noticing is that I feel like that I get in this kind of place of surrender and it feels really good. But then other people kind of from the States and from my world keep asking me like what's going on and how am I holding up and what's the plan and all of those details that I don't have answers to. And when I say, look, I don't know, I'm good right now, it's like it's uncomfortable for them, and then it makes me kind of uncomfortable, and it gets me out of that place of surrender. So it's like, how do I stay in that place of surrender and trust when these kind of pings are coming at me? And I'm noticing that it's showing up with the way I think am connecting with food and with kind of those other things outside of myself. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. And I feel like I was getting that ashamed, but and I think just don't let those others in and just keep shining your light and be free to be where you are in that space of surrender, of not having understanding and control, and just keep resonating in your frequency and don't drop for the others. Well, when they're not okay with your situation, it doesn't matter because you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to end it, it is done, and thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. That was amazing. Is Yvonne on the call today? If she is,
She wasn't able to be here.
She wasn't able to. Okay, Erica, I'll let you. Let's just do kind of like was keep it in like 10 minutes. And so we have like the last 10 minutes to do some more questions.
All right, Miss Kathy.
Hi, Erica. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing okay. So my question is, I've been hearing for years that heartbreak and trauma and, all these things that happen to our lives since, puberty for me, was a contributor to my massive weight gain, because it was like, something would happen. Somebody would pass away and I was taking care of them, and then I gained a bunch of weight, and senior year in college gained a bunch of weight, like all these things. So and not saying that I believe them, but I feel like somewhere I did, I guess. And then so doing like meditation and doing IAMs and doing more self-care and just kind of undoing that fight or flight and just loving myself is a big thing that I've done. And the weight didn't come off, and you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't want to believe that that was true, but if I'm changing the set, you know what I mean? Like that kind of,
Yes.
I'm trying, but am I doing the right thing?
This is what I love about this. So take a deep breath in.
Mhm.
Exhale it out. And I'm actually like, I feel things, and I'm feeling your liver. So please put your hands on your lower back.
Okay.
Take a deep breath in. And liver for me signifies anger. And you are trying to do everything except experience the anger. So as you breathe that in, I feel you have it bubble up, right? Like you don't even want to go there. It's almost as if you feel the anger. If you were to release the anger, then you don't know what to rely back on. Right? You're taking something outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you are, I really want to share in the most loving way that anger, you do things in spite of, you do things because of, like it's something of an emotion such as anger that it propels you to step forward. And so if you actually released the anger and the resistance, then you don't know what would motivate you to step into your power. Does that make sense?
Of course.
Yes. And so I actually just want to clear that, because I feel you feeling, you hold that right in your liver, and I feel it so immensely. So we're going to take a deep breath in, and I'm actually going to ask the liver to step forward and the cells that are attached to it. And I feel it so beautifully. I'm going to breathe into it. And from the first particle of existence to this time and place called now, we are going to clear, cancel, delete, and remove the emotion, the resistance, the release of anger as motivation. We're going to clear, cancel, delete, and remove the blame. We're going to clear, cancel, delete, and remove that things happen to you. We're going to clear, cancel, delete, and remove the resistance in wanting to be accountable. Breathe that in. And I immediately felt a shift of calmness once you released that resistance. So I actually am going to call on the rainbow light, and I feel it so beautifully swirling all the way down. It's like bacon wrapping a steak is what I see, but it's the rainbow light wrapping your liver organ. And I am at peace. I am calm. I am stillness. Breathe that in. Feel the power of you in that stillness, because I feel a shift. Do you feel that shift?
Mm-hmm.
It's that stillness in which your power lies. It's not in the noise. It's not in the emotion. It's not in the experience that lets you put something outside of yourself. It's actually in that calm stillness of you where your power is. And for you to just bring in the emotion of stillness, it automatically sets you in there. And I could feel you feel that.
Yeah.
Breathe that in. So outside of triggers, outside of anything that you will feel that response, because it's going to come up, remember the experience of this stillness, that frequency of the stillness, and operate from that standpoint. Create, make a decision, choose from that standpoint. And it just needed that connection for you to step into to remind you that there is stillness behind the chaos and the noise.
Awesome.
Breathe it in. Thank you. I love you. It is done.
Thank you so much, Erica.
Oh, I feel that's like, you're so light. Like, I'm like, woo! Like, I feel like you can just get up and do a jiggle. Like, it really, it was very beautiful because there was such a release and a shift in, like, a heavy weight just went, gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Great job, Kathy. There was something that came to me where there was this place of that responsible, like I'm fully responsible for myself. And so I just want to do one just really quick universal clearing around that, because it kind of came forth, like this energy pattern just came out, and I think a lot of us are holding it. So let's just really quickly, I'll reconnect to the heart, going into the universal master cell, and we are clearing, canceling, and deleting the belief system that if I'm fully responsible for myself, I am no longer supported by my divine. And if I'm fully responsible for myself, I am alone. If I am fully responsible for myself and I fail, it is evidence that the divine would never had my back. There's a frequency pattern of rejection of my divine, and we're clearing, canceling, and deleting. That if I fail, it means the divine was not supporting me. And we're bringing in the 7 elements of the rainbow light to clear, cancel, and delete all programs and realities connected to that if I am responsible for myself and I fail, it is a direct reflection of my divine presence. Watching that clear. We're clearing, canceling, and deleting the fear of failure. And we're just going to bring in the frequency pattern of I am trust, I am flow. I co-create in the divine frequency. Everything I do is perfect. Everything I see is perfect. Everything I am and embody is perfect. I am a perfect divine reflection. My body knows what it feels like to resonate in perfect divine reflection. And it's done. We'll play with that one. The homework with that is when we're having that place of like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm empowered. And then we're taking on that responsibility piece. And then when we start to go into, I need to have evidence in order to keep believing, that we move back into what I'm seeing right now is divinely perfect. What I'm experiencing right now is divinely perfect. And that piece is the part, all you have to do to fully embrace your that responsibility piece. There's this piece that like, well, if I fully become responsible for my own healing and I fail, then there's nothing after that. then it's over. Then I'll be like this forever. That kind of frequency pattern, like I'll never be able to change. And that's just not true. It's actually the trust that you are that powerful to take on that responsibility, because there will always be the what's next to move into. There will always be a higher frequency identity to become. And the only limitation that we put on ourselves is to not focus and step into that becoming. So what Erica says, the next, what is it? Yes, next, and more. There's always a yes, next, and more. Beautiful. Thank you for reflecting that, Kathy, for all of us.
A question. Hello. Hi, I have a question.
Yes.
When you were doing the universal clearing, both times, but the first time really strongly, my body, it's a good thing the video wasn't on. My body just goes crazy. It spasms, it jerks, it shakes, I get chills just throughout. So what is that?
Oh, honey, it happens to me too. It just, you know what? That's your body's way of saying, yes, this is working. Yes, something is happening. I don't know that we need to identify it. I think it's just your body's way of saying, like, yes, we're doing this. And for you to witness that, it just feeds that part of the brain that needs to have something happen in order to have the shift. And so just allow it to go to that part of the brain and feed it some candy while your body is doing exactly what it needs to do in order to experience that. It's both, and it's more. And I still have it. Like, I have to actually really like center myself and control to do universal clearings, because I'm holding the energy pattern for all of you, and I can feel what you're feeling. So it's not just you. Wow. We're in it together.
So does that apply for even yawns?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that's a big indicator of release of energy.
Because I noticed that while I was listening to your recording, and then again in the class, and I'm going, this is not normally do it. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Jules, I have a question.
Yes. Hi, honey.
Hi. Ever since the class last week, it's like my vibration just went choom, and it has stayed up most all the week. Occasionally, I would feel it drop if I was like tired or something, but I could use my I am statement and brings it right back up. It's phenomenal. And I want to know, is it going to get better than this?
Well, what I will say about that is you did the right thing when you noticed your frequency drop, which right there, just that you were aware of when it happened is amazing. Yeah. Like, that's great work, because
it's so like black and white, it's phenomenal.
Just that you were able to be like, oh, my frequency is dropping, and able to interrupt that pattern, bring in the higher frequency, and then raise back up. That's reprogramming, honey. That is programming to a T. It's beautiful. Keep doing it, and just keep making it a practice, And if you get to a place where your frequency starts to drop a little bit more, just you're teaching your body how to do this. And so don't give up. If just keep doing it, because your body is learning, this is how I'm going to keep a higher frequency. And then you're gonna keep going. You're like, you're gonna raise in frequency, and then you'll start to reflect some really cool realities once you get there.
Well, even my face has changed. Yeah. I look younger. When I looked in the mirror after class last week, it was like, whoa, who's this woman? I looked so different, and even my body seemed different, So it was a beautiful experience. And I'm using the I am joyfully energized is what I'm using. But I can use some other ones if I feel like something fits. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. You know, we don't ever be attached to anything. And just like we
Okay.
don't ever want to attach to a story or an identity, we always want to stay in the flow. So if something else is coming in for you,
Okay.
go with it. We always want
Okay.
to go with the flow.
Okay. Thank you. Love you.
Jules, I have a question.
Mhm.
We were doing the 5-minute video that you sent us initially. I've been doing that every day. Are we going to continue with that, or are we going to do this week's healing that you did?
Right. So this week, the exercise is the mirror work. So it's about before we look in the mirror, we embrace our emotion of choice. And then when we look at our reflection, and you know, don't be attached to this. This may take more than one time, but we wait until our reflection is sending that emotion back to us. So we're identifying what negative thoughts are coming up, and we're moving back into our emotion. We're identifying what thoughts are coming up. We're moving back into our emotion until we can look at ourselves and feel that emotion coming back to us. So that's the exercise for this week, and we're doing that for 2 reasons. One, of course, is to identify the negative thoughts that we have when we're looking, and to be able to move back into the emotion when we're identifying those negative thoughts is reprogramming. And we're teaching ourselves to hold this beautiful emotion of our emotion of choice and have that reflected back to us. It's okay if you can't make it happen. Know that it's reprogramming regardless if you ever feel the emotion coming back to you. Because every time you have the negative thought and you move back into your emotion of choice, even if you don't feel it, just the intention that you're moving back into your emotion of choice is reprogramming your cells. It's a practice. And you know, we don't practice to be perfect. We practice to get better. And so it's just like going to the gym. You just keep going, you keep going, you keep going, and you start to get stronger and you start to get better. And then you really can start to enter what, you know, a lot of athletes call the flow, where you're not thinking about it anymore. You're just like what Cheryl was talking about. Well, what if something else comes in? Stay with that flow. You'll get into the flow of it. Beautiful question.
And my question was, you know, because you did the video healing today, is that the one we now do every day for the next week, or do we go still
There's
do
nothing that you should be doing.
initial one that you did?
Linda, the only thing that you should be doing every single day is your step-by-step process and your I am. And then now this week, it's about your reflection work with your emotion of choice. You know, if you want to listen to an activation or you want to do the thing with your food, continue to do that. You know, if it integrates into your life without it feeling like hard work, keep doing it. But what we don't want to be is, oh, I have to do this, because then you're not experiencing it from the right frequency. But if you can integrate it to where it really fits into your life, then do it all. But if it doesn't and it feels like too much, then do the parts that feel good.
Okay. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay. So let's see, we have like 4 minutes. Does anybody else have a question?
I do. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I kept getting kicked off the computer. I missed Erica's whole talk. I just joined yesterday too, so I already am behind. I missed last week's, and now this happened today when I'm on. I don't know what's wrong. I haven't been having any problems with my computer, but you mentioned a pendulum too. I don't have a pendulum, so I should order a pendulum then.
If you have a necklace that has like a cross or a heart, anything like that, you can just use a necklace. Or if you're good at muscle testing, you can muscle test. I know someone was saying they like to do the sway, but just know, honey, you can get as far behind as you want, and it's not gonna, don't get stressed about that. because when you have this course for life, it will always be there for you. And, you know, you can always go back and all of that. So don't stress on about being behind, because you're perfect.
Okay, because I don't feel that much like a lot of other people either. So I'm like, am I, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. You're not in the beginning of the class, when whatever your experience is perfect for you. So don't compare, don't judge your own experience. Just know that you're getting exactly what you need. And I strongly recommend that when everyone finishes this class, that they go back and do it again, or at least continue the practice, because this isn't something where 4 weeks and you're done. This is a way of life. This is a practice. Like, reprogramming what it is to be human is not something we do in 4 weeks. You know, it's something that we do for the rest of our lives if we choose. It just depends on how consciously unconscious you want your cells to become and what frequency pattern you want to stop at. And for me, you know, I choose to keep going. It's fascinating to me how powerful we are, and I invite you all to have that experience as well. Thank you, Karen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Erica, do you want to finish with a closing for us?
So does everybody, we just, so much love. Like, there's just so much love. And it's so beautiful, because I could feel like when everybody started the call, there was all this like, and now everyone's just kind of settled in that yummy juiciness of frequency. So we're just going to continue holding on to the frequency, because that's what we want to remember. And that's what we want to step into when we feel constricted again. So let's take a deep breath in. And we honor ourselves, and we honor the feeling of just juiciness. Like, that's the word I'm getting. Like, if you're going to squeeze an orange and you just see it just bubbling up and it's just juicy. We're honoring our juiciness, whatever that means to you. And you are effervescent, and you are light, and you are love. And so when you do feel yourself drop down, just remember that you are light and you are love. And that will automatically bring you to where you need to be in that moment. So honor you this week. Trust in you this week. And know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. And it is perfect the way it is. You are divine. Thank you. I love you. It is done.
It's done. Love you all so much. Have fun this week.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.